And Monica Pellegrini. This is UPN 9 News.
Tonight, winter's wonder turns dangerous. Snow, sleet, and freezing rain makes for a treacherous Thursday. Good evening, everyone. Ernie and Brenda are off tonight. I'm Logan Crawford.
And I'm Reg Wells. It's getting uglier by the minute out there. It's a dangerous mess, a combination of snow, sleet, freezing rain, and frigid temperatures. We have team coverage. Storm Field is following the path of the storm. Larry Cosgrove looks at how the city is staying open while the rest of us run for cover. But first, Dick Brennan is live at Newark Airport with a look at the horrendous conditions there. Dick.
Yeah, Reg, horrendous is right. The weather, in a word, is nasty. We've sort of got a snow-sleet thing going here right now, but we've also got cold, and we've got wind. The place to be really is inside, but not necessarily inside an airport terminal. I was just talking to a few people in there. They've been waiting about 7 hours. Not too bad. There is trouble in the air, and there's also trouble on the roads. Tonight, the salt spreaders hit the roads and tried to avoid cars that almost hit them.
It was icy and slippery, and we kept salting, and the people were driving like maniacs.
Patrons don't even cooperate with us, cutting us off, trying to keep the road safe for them.
They cut a plow off?
Yes, all day long.
All night long, the wintry mix made an awful mess of the roads. While highways were mostly clear, side streets like this one in Elizabeth were sheets of ice. Just like most windshields.
Yeah, I think it's a good workout. Just hope the car doesn't stall on the way home or anything, you know?
With this weather, it certainly seems like a good idea to get out of town, maybe hit the fun and sun. All you have to do is get through the airport. Jets landing at LaGuardia disappeared into clouds of white, just like some flights at Newark.
We are having to clear the runways, de-ice the planes. We've got delays up and down the Northeast Corridor, which also compound the problems.
You don't look happy.
Because I've been delayed and delayed, canceled. They told me to go back to sleep this morning.
How bad has it been?
It's been pretty bad. Ice, ice, more ice. I want to go home.
It was a day for wishful and wistful thinking.
The fruits of the labor will show.
Are you having fun yet?
No, not at all. Not at all. This is really bad news.
And the snow and the rain and the sleet will stop eventually. Glad to be getting out of town?
I'm glad to be getting out of town if I can make it.
You think you will?
No, I'll be sleeping here.
No guarantees getting out of town, that's for sure. As for delays, well, where do we begin? LaGuardia, Kennedy, Newark, lots of delays. Rails aren't a bargain either. Of course, you saw how bad the roads are. The idea is stay indoors because things won't be getting much better anytime too soon. Live in Newark, Dick Brennan, UPN 9 News. Logan, back to you.
Dick Brennan, thank you very much. So how much snow and ice should we expect, and how long will it last? Our weather team is following the dangerous conditions. Larry Cosgrove is live in Times Square, and Storm Field is tracking the snow and ice. What's the latest, Storm?
All right, well, I just ran in here literally from the weather room, and what we've got is temperatures that are actually starting to go up. Of course, we only went from 17 to 19 degrees in New York City, but Atlantic City gives you a real indication of the changes that are coming our way, as its temperatures went from 37 to 41 degrees. Humidity is still high, lots of moisture around, winds still rather gusty. Now, here's what's going on. All day, we've had this stall line here, no moisture getting into the tri-state area, not a lot of it anyway, but it's starting to break down now, and there's a lot of freezing precipitation coming in, which means some real problems with freezing rain, and the accumulation could be enough to cause some downed trees and some power outages if this starts staying up around our area and staying with us right overnight into tomorrow morning. Excuse me, I'm a little out of breath. Winter weather advisories all around the region, and one of the really dangerous things that we're looking at right now is a call for a possibility of flooding throughout the region, the tri-state area, as we get some heavy rains tomorrow with warming trend and everything all clogged up. It means there's no place for that water to go except for on the streets, the highways, and a lot of basements. Now, Larry is outside, and at least he's got his breath. Larry, how's it going?
Okay, Storm. I'll tell you, we've got a very cold night going here. I'm behind the opening night of Fosse, which, by the way, went off without a hitch. Other less glamorous but still important roles, though, are played off behind a backdrop of cold wind and ice. The stars came out for the new musical Fosse. Opening night combined hot stars on a cold, cold night. Because as all non-celebs know, the show must go on, even in 20-degree weather.
Oh, very, very bad, very bad. Walking, riding, whatever. Lifting out here, heavy boxes, slippery, hazards. Maybe I'll take off tomorrow.
The weather had sanitation worker Ronald Holmes dreaming of the warmer, brighter days of summer.
Well, the summer is much easier. You work up a sweat. The winter time is rough. You're fighting. But you're used to it. After a while, you get used to it.
No problems at all from the weather from you tonight, right?
Business as usual. Through rain, snow, or sleet, the ferry's still running.
Yeah, you heard it right. The ferry to Queens is running tonight in Titanic-type weather.
Well, the wind's been pretty bad, and the visibility, you know, has been in and out.
Near the same dock, the homeless wait to be fed. Steve Hoffman does not disappoint.
But we come around, we've got about 7 spots that we're going to go to tonight, and we're going to feed hopefully about 250 to 300 people. And this is probably their only meal that they're going to have all day long.
We appreciate bad weather.
You can't blame Nick Cimarelli. He's in the hotel business, and earlier today he had 176 rooms to fill.
The hotel went from having 40 rooms booked to being in a sold-out situation. Continental Airlines has booked 100 rooms right off the bat.
I got to tell you something. It's still cold, rainy, windy, and sleeting out here tonight, but stick around because Pat Collins will have a complete review of Fosse coming up later to broadcast. Logan?
Larry, looks cold. You better put up that hood. Thanks for that report.
Okay.
So how's your town doing in clearing the streets? We're out there putting communities to the test. Are you getting the service you deserve or a snow job for your tax dollars? It's our exclusive Snow Plow Challenge coming up at 10:30.
Now, the storm that's creating chaos around here also left its mark in other parts of the country, from the Northeast to the Midwest. Mother Nature has us in an ice grip. 2.5 feet of snow is piled up in Buffalo. The snow has been relentless the past 2 weeks. Buffalo usually gets 93 inches of snow a year. This month alone, 53 inches have fallen. Oh! Big fun could just be beginning for New Englanders. Forecasters expect them to get harsh weather for the next couple of days. Meanwhile, in Maine, the state recorded its lowest temperature ever, 55 below zero. In Detroit, schools have been closed indefinitely because streets have not been plowed. And so much for the mailman's creed of through rain, sleet, or snow. Mailmen will come to the house, honk the horn, and if you don't come and get it in 60 seconds, they're out of there. And Ohio residents continue to battle the snow, rain, sleet, and ice. Well, in Erie, Pennsylvania, snowplow crews have been working 12-hour shifts for the past 16 days. Logan?
And Reg, tonight dozens of people are forced from their homes. They've been evacuated from their apartment building in the Bronx. Joanne Pileggi is live in the High Bridge area with the story. Good evening, Joanne.
Good evening, Logan. Problems here tonight for tenants. About 30 of them cannot get into their apartments tonight because of structural problems. There's also potential problems for tenants in the rest of the building who are waiting and wondering whether they'll be told to leave tomorrow. City firefighters are called to this apartment building in the Bronx today for an electrical emergency. They found a more serious problem.
In the process of them solving the electrical problem, they discovered that there was a sagging of the floors in the C-line of apartments in this building, from the top floor all the way to the basement.
There was concern of a collapse, and the building's 60 units were evacuated.
What is happening here, the building is buckling.
Several hours later, all but those in one section were allowed back in. Tonight, tenants showed us one of the units, which is considered unsafe. The building is under construction, and material apparently fell from one floor to another. This woman was told to stay out of her apartment.
My whole family is scattered. Some gone this way, some gone that way. So it really worries me.
While the structural problems only affected 6 of the units right now, other tenants here are certainly worried about the integrity of the rest of the building.
I'm worried about my family. I'm worried about all these friends that I had for years that live in this building.
If the inspector says okay, well, I guess it's all right. But otherwise from that, you know, we got to stay here until we have further notice as to leave. But right now, that's all we have to do.
City inspectors notify the landlord to get his engineers and crews here tomorrow to make emergency repairs and to make sure the rest of this building is safe for all of the rest of the tenants. Now, as for the tenants told to get out today, the Red Cross did offer them shelter. Some of them accepted, and others are staying right here in this building with family and friends. Reporting live from the Bronx, Joanne Pileggi, UPN 9 News. Back to you, Logan and Reg.
With the power to get you a seat to Michael Tilson Thomas and the San Francisco Symphony at Davies Symphony Hall. So bring your Visa card, because you can't get in using American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
This is Mike Seidel in Westchester County, New York. It's another icy, wintry night in the Big Apple. It will affect the morning commute. I'll have a live report coming up next.
And it's an icy and wintry night in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania as well. I'm Jeff Morrow in King of Prussia, and I'll have a complete update next on Weather Center.
A major winter storm is bringing everything from snow to sleet to freezing rain in the Northeast. Hello and welcome to Weather Center. I'm Sharon Resulton.
And I'm Bob Stokes. Now, this storm has already made a mess in many areas, but it will hang on and cause even more problems. Dave Schwartz is following this winter storm from our forecast center. Dave, what's the latest?
Well, Bob, I've got numerous reports from wire services talking about how roads have been blocked due to snow and ice. There have been delays at airports. Many flights have been canceled. Airports have been closed for a while, as was the Providence, Rhode Island airport earlier tonight. Well, now that most of the flights are in, unfortunately, the bad weather continues. Here's a look at our satellite image, and it's actually what you don't see that is one of our enemies. There's a big trough of low pressure that sits right here in the middle of the country. That's getting stronger and stronger. We could analyze a low right here, actually. And the wind flow is coming out of the south here along the east coast. Now you might think, well, that's great, tropical air. Unfortunately, there's a big cold area of high pressure that sits over southeastern Canada right here, and the flow around that is from the northeast. That's counter to the flow aloft. What we end up with is this, an ice storm. In Pennsylvania, over toward North Jersey, New York City included, icing in Washington, D.C., Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and all of western and central Pennsylvania. This is all ice. Power outages are likely here tonight, and even toward Bridgeport and New Haven, Connecticut, an ice and sleet. Tarrytown, New York, snow and sleet. That was our combination here, and the best idea was to just get behind one of these plows, and maybe you can make your way through a little more easily. Temperatures were running in the teens all day here today. We were shoveling, we were plowing, anything to try to make it through here tonight. We've got live team coverage from the field. We'll let you know what's to happen here tomorrow afternoon. Our winter weather specialist, Paul Cosin, is standing by here live with me, analyzing the latest surface map. We'll be back with you here in just a minute. And we will show you the radars to let you know what's happening here now and what you can expect when you wake up in the morning. Let's head out into the field after we check on this current surface map. And right here, this is the area of the greatest concern here tonight. We've got two reporters standing by live. One is Mike Seidel in Westchester County, just north of New York City. Mike, it's been nasty today. Temperatures still in the teens. I don't imagine there's any change tonight.
No change, Dave. Temperature now 16 here in Westchester County. It's about a 45-minute drive on a good night from New York City, but tonight it's taking a little bit longer because of the sleet. We picked up about a half an inch of sleet in the past hour, and it's still coming down as temperatures hold in the mid-teens. We're here at the Tappan Zee Bridge. The speed limit down to 35 like it has been all day, but not a lot of traffic now, so we're not getting help from the automobiles and keeping the roads kind of wet. And as a result, we've seen the roads get covered back up. However, a plow just went by. And something we don't often have to be concerned with a nor'easter or a storm off the coast, a coastal low, is freezing rain. Usually it's either rain or it's snow. But this situation atmospherically is a little bit different. We've got warming aloft, so much cold air here at the surface that it's going to be freezing rain later on tonight. And for those of you watching from the northwest suburbs, right here in Westchester County, it's going to be at least mid to late morning before the freezing rain changes to rain. So you mentioned power outages. That's a good possibility. Those of you in the city and out on the island and down on the New Jersey coastline, the Jersey Shore, will see that change over much quicker. By sunrise, before the rush hour gets really underway, you should have just plain old rain, and that should ease up the roadway conditions there. But again, if you're traveling out of the city north tomorrow or heading into New York City early in the morning, watch the roadways. They'll still be slippery. And Dave will be certainly here for the rest of this evening and first thing in the morning. Back to you.
Useful advice. Glad you're there. Thanks a lot. Mike Seidel, north of New York City. Philadelphia is our next stop, and Jeff Morrow is standing by live in the northern suburbs. Jeff?
Well, Dave, the sleet has pretty much abated, at least for the time being, but that's the way it's really been all day. We've had periods of sleet and a little bit of freezing drizzle, then it'll back off, then it'll come back in earnest and really come down hard. We had one of those episodes about an hour to 2 hours ago that put down about an inch of sleet. Now it's kind of cut off again. Let's show you what kind of shape that put the roads in around here. This is the Pennsylvania Turnpike as it intersects with the Schuylkill Expressway right at the toll booth here. We're looking eastbound basically down toward Philadelphia, and not too much traffic tonight, and there really hasn't been all that much. A few big 18-wheelers coming in, the roads sleet packed and kind of slippery out there, but I think a lot of folks are heeding the weatherman's advice, hopefully, and staying off the roadways because they are a little bit slick. They're definitely slicker now than what they were during the course of the day, when the salt trucks were definitely doing a good job and keeping everything mainly wet, particularly on the main roads. Now things are a little bit more sleet packed. As we head through the overnight hours, it's going to take some time to get rid of this cold air, but eventually we think we may go over to all rain here tomorrow. We'll be here tomorrow morning to keep you updated. Right now, Dave, let's get back.